Hey guys, as always, a little intro here. I decided to upload this video to YouTube because I just couldn't believe that they gave that settlement, that first initial placement, that they left that open. So I figured this would be a fun one for YouTube. As you might have noticed, I have a new intro screen with all my information for my channels that I have. I did create a Discord server, so if you feel like joining that, yeah, do that. And if you are enjoying my content, please consider subscribing. I only started out 2 months ago, and I really appreciate all your support, and it really encourages me to continue. Also, if you have any feedback on how you think I could improve my content, please let me know in the comments, and I will hopefully become a bit better from it. So hope you enjoy the video. We'll get into another game immediately. I'm not sure how many games I will play today because I just find out my leakage is back. So my room of my house, I share my house with one roommate. Our house is leaking. So I thought we fixed it last week because it started last week, but it's back. So yeah, there is not a lot I can do about it actually, but you know, I want to do some damage control. I laid down towels and buckets and stuff like that, but yeah, I want to keep an eye out on it. So I'll check after this game how bad it is. Again, there's not a lot I can do about it, um, but yeah, I need to keep an eye out on it. So I'm not sure how long I can play. But let's leave that all of that away. Let's get into this board. We are second in placement. It's a very low weed board, so I like this spot. So I think this should be a no-brainer because you get a good synergizing resources here. You get ore and you get wheat. It's always good to get those resources on one settlement because you know they synergize. You can build cities with them. If you get some wool in your second placement, you can buy a lot of development cards as well. You can play a tall game. And it's also good because this is close to two harbors. So if you place a settlement there, you aim your road down. It's pretty easy to get two harbors very cheap. With just two roads, two settlements, you already have two harbor master points. So I think it's a good sign that blue is you know, questioning this so much. This is a very nice spot as well. I was thinking blue is thinking about this or this because this you know this looks very nice, but I think I have to go for this one. This suits my style better. I like to play tall, and again with such a low wheat board, you know, for every strategy you need wheat. The only time you don't need wheat is if you have a very powerful harbor. So I guess that's something for another player. So I don't understand that nobody's taking this one. Because normally if you have a setup like this, 3 tile, same resource, good numbers, the harbor is far away usually, but this getting a settlement there and just with one road getting that's very good. So if this is open, I will definitely take it, but I can't believe that this would still be open. But it might actually happen because green, yeah, this would be insane for green if he takes this one because he has all the lumber on the board. He has that harbor close by, but maybe he doesn't see it. So we get our two. I think this would be the best settlement on the board, and this would be the second settlement, and we get both of them. So no doubt I will take this one. No doubt. Yeah. I guess everyone has their own strategy, of course, but I have no idea why nobody took that one. I think that was the best one for sure. So yeah, I think this will be an interesting game. Yeah, all that lumber without brick, that's not worth a lot, but once we get to that harbor, I think it will be very powerful, and I will probably prioritize this one over that ore harbor. This ore harbor would be very nice, but so we have to make a decision here. Let's analyze green. Yeah, green doesn't have any wheat, so he does have a lot of road building capabilities, but I think I would be able I think I will be able to compete with him. Let's do a wildcard trade for lumber. You never know. I want to check it out. I think there's a lot of lumber on this board, so it would make sense. It wouldn't make sense if anybody was willing to trade with me. It's a very low brick board, so I don't think anyone wants to give me brick. Reds, we already noticed during settlements, he's kind of a slow player. Oh man, do I go for a race or do I just go for this one as soon as possible? Because this gives me so much flexibility, and I think I have to do that. If we get this settlement, we still could compete for that one. It just depends on how much nines the green player gets. And again, he doesn't have any wheat, and I don't see anyone trading wheat really fast in this game because it's so low. So I think we have pretty good shot at still getting that one even. And we don't obviously have any brick. Don't have any wool. It's also pretty low on wool. It's pretty. So I guess there's something to say for that spot because it's so low on wool. But I just value. I think wheat is more valuable than wool, just generically, just overall it's more valuable. So I'll do this if I get some brick, but red doesn't have any brick income. Maybe he stole something. I don't think a 7 has been rolled. Nope. We get another lumber here, and we do have that wheat, so maybe we can trade that wheat for some brick. Maybe we can trade one wheat for a brick and a wool. That would be amazing. It kind of would make sense to do that with yellow, but then a bit with green. But then again, we would help green on getting towards there faster. So for now we'll just wait. I could have offered a wildcard trade for wheat there. Yeah. If the green player gets no, he cannot get development cards because again he doesn't have any wheat. I was thinking if he gets road building or something like that, that could help him, or years of plenty, that could help the green player. Green has to give away cards here, so that's good for us. That's still, you know, we have a good shot at still getting this one. So yeah, this will be an interesting game, and as of now I think we have good setup for it. We still have to obviously hit the numbers. We have a nice spread of numbers. Don't take my wheat. Okay, don't. That's fine. I'm not really focusing on the ore. Ore is it's very nice to get a city in the early game. So early game is around 4 up to 5 points. So if anyone has 4 or 5 points, then you can say, okay, this is roughly the end of the early game. And in the early game, usually ore is not that important. It is very nice to get a city in the early game because obviously you can snowball. But in the early game, brick and lumber are more important. In the late game, ore is very important. That's you know, that's the basics. Obviously Catan, every board is different, so it's hard to. Sometimes people ask me, how can I become a better player? Teach me some stuff, but it's very hard to create rules that that you can use in every board, because every board is different and every board has different players, different strategies. So that's what I like about Catan. It's every game is different, but that's also why it's pretty hard to master, because you have to analyze each board and then create a strategy for that, and the strategy definitely begins during your initial settlements, right? That's when you decide your strategy, and after you decided your initial strategy, you have to stick to that, and you have to so I'm pretty much summarizing my my tutorial that I have on YouTube, or my guide. But what you do is you analyze the board, then you check what placement do I have. Then you say to yourself, okay, what's the most scarce resource on the board? In this board it was wheat. Then you check, okay, can I get that resource? And if I get that resource, so in this example, I get wheat and I get ore. So that gets me closer to the tall strategy. If you play tall, you go for ore, you go for wheat, and you go for wool. So I got wheat and I got ore in this game. So Normally I would have gone for on my second settlement I need wool, because for a tall strategy you need wheat, you need ore, and you need wool, and you'll get 4 cities and you get largest army and you get up to 10 points and you win the game like that. um, let's see if somebody wants to give me something for it. So you win the game like that. So I'm a bit confused where I was, to be honest. Do I want to do this? I guess I'll do this. I maybe could have asked for a bit more. I think I should have. But at least this gets me close to my objective. So what I was talking about is, once you have decided your strategy, so either you play tall or you play wide. If you play wide, you go for roads and settlements. If you play tall, you go for cities and development cards. So you choose your strategy after your initial settlements, and then you have to choose. Then you have to say to yourself, okay, what will be my first objective? So in our case, this is our first objective, and then you should do everything you can to get towards that first objective. And for me, what I believe is a common mistake is that people go for 2 objectives at the same time, or they just check what resources do I get, and then I'll build something without a particular strategy in mind, without a underlying meaning or a thought on that why they built that. So you want to choose an objective, then you build that objective. Once you build that objective, then you go to your next objective. And it's okay to think further, to be some steps ahead of your enemies. That's no problem with that, but your resource management should be focused on that first objective. And that's why I took that trade. That's why I took that wool, because I had a range on getting that objective. I have wheat income, I have lumber income, I didn't have wool, I didn't have brick income. So we do get our lumber. I don't think anyone wants to do this, but I have to try it. So another tip, so I'm handing out the tips today. I guess that's what this channel is about, right? Never assume that other players don't want to trade, or don't think for the other player. So don't make any conclusions on what they think or what they want. Just try it out, because you never know what's going on in their mind. So don't just trade for resources with the bank like I just did. I have a lot to improve, of course, but or don't trade 2 for 1, or don't pass the turn. Always try to do a trade, because you never know what the other player wants. And if somebody asks something from you, ask a lot for it. In this case, I didn't have the time. I was thinking, what do I want from him? I would like some brick from him, but I don't want to go over 7. So yeah, he's asking for something. I'm free to ask whatever I want. I'm telling him I want brick for this. So always ask something extra. If somebody is asking something from you, you have the power, you have the leverage. So, and yeah, and I would do the same if I were a red, or for example, I really needed brick and I had 2 ore, but I needed 1 brick to get to my first objective. I would give away that 2 ore, because you can see it's pretty hard to go for a city and for a settlement at the same time, because you go over 7 pretty fast. And if you go over 7, usually what happens is that you get none of your objectives. So you get either a city or a settlement, but not both usually. So we got that settlement going, and green actually is giving up on this. It seems he's going that way. I missed that. I guess I missed that in my when I was talking that much. And if I get a city here, it's actually a very hard, very tough decision. Do I go for this one or do I go for that one? If I build my first city here, my city building capabilities would improve a lot. So usually you always want to build a city on a settlement that gives you more cities. So that means on ore and on wheat, because then you can snowball. But in this case, I think I have to put it here, because these are better numbers if you count them all, and it gives you so much more flexibility. Because it could happen if you build a city here, you hit a lot of 8s, but you don't hit a 3 or you don't hit a 4, and then you are not able to do anything with all that ore. But if you have a lumber harbor and you hit, you get a lot of lumber, you can do whatever you want. So that's why harbors are so powerful. It gives you flexibility. So I think I have to build my first city there. And you can see how powerful wheat is in this board. Since the 3 got blocked here, you don't see a 3 being blocked a lot of times. But in this case, a 3 is a pretty good number for wheat. So you can see it blocked here by the green player, and I think it's a good block. So we will like a 8, a 10, a 9, or a 5, and we can get a city. We do get that 8, so that's good. As I just explained, we'll get it there, and we'll pass the turn. So now every time we hit a 5, a 9, or a 10, we have one resource of our desire. So now we have a lot of flexibility, and again, I still think we have a good setup to get this settlement. And I think the easiest way for us to win in this game is to get probably has somebody bought development cards? Yeah, blue has bought 2 development. I didn't pay enough attention to that, and I forgot to put on the historic players. So now we have historic players. I guess this is a good trade for me, but again, ask something extra. If you ask something extra, you're at risk that something like that happens. But for me, it works out. I think the best way to win is to get. Don't go for largest army here because I don't have any wool income. I know I have this lumber. Maybe we can sneak in a longest road because brick is so low in this game and we have a lot of lumber. But at least this will be our next objective. For sure, we are going for a harbor master here. So harbor master means for every harbor you have, you get 1 point, like we have. If you have a city on a harbor, you get 2 points for it. And if you have 3 harbor master points, you get 2 victory points, just like the largest army and longest road. So we have a forestry area, or how do you call this? Lumber camp. I guess we have a lumber camp here. Blue is going for a wool farm, a sheep farm, but the red is going for a sheep farm, but he is very dependent on just one tile. So if you go for a farm like this, that's why this one is so strong, because it has 3 separate income tiles. So if you want to go for a strategy like this, try to make sure that you have 2 good income of that resource that you're going for. That will improve your. That will make sure that the other players cannot mess with you by blocking that tile. And that is if you are dependent, if you are fully going for a harbor master strategy. So you have playing tall, you have playing white, and I guess a third strategy that you see quite a bit is like this. It's a harbor master strategy, and we are playing a bit in between. Actually, I like to do 1 wheat for 2 ore here, because if I hit 1/8, we get up to 3 ore, and you always want to end up on 3 ore. So now we are in range to getting. If we had 1/9 and an 8, or an 8 and a 4, we get a city. So you want to end up with 3 ore, and I know this will be our next objective. I know, but getting a city here also helps. So that's the part I was talking about too. You have to improvise sometimes. So same rules don't always count, and sometimes you just have to improvise a bit. But our ore gets blocked there. That's okay. Green does have development card, and we haven't used the glitch all night. I think maybe once. So we can use the glitch on the blue player and the green player. So let's try to do that, but it takes some focus, and it's pretty hard to explain everything that's going on in my mind and to focus on the game at the same time. I'm getting better at it. So yeah, we did use the glitch there. You saw 3 dots before the blue player rolled. That means he had a choice to do something before he rolled. If we had a knight here, we could have used it. So with us, you see roll dice because we don't have any option to do anything else. But if you see 3 dots, you know for sure that somebody has a knight or a special development card, even though they cannot use that special development card before they roll. That's just how it works, but that's a glitch. So for example, for the green player, we know he has a victory point because we saw the roll dice immediately. We didn't see the 3 dots, so we know green has 4 victory points for sure. And that's not good for us because I was hoping he has a knight so we could open this up. I guess it doesn't matter because he rolled a 7 obviously, but you know what I'm saying. And we can do it with red, so red also has a victory point here. So that's something to keep in mind. We do hit an 8 here. That only makes stuff more difficult for us. Yeah. Green does have some wheat income right now. I don't think anyone wants to trade wheat with him, since it's so low on the board. So anyone who gets wheat wants to use it for himself, and he doesn't have a harbor. So we cannot get wheat easily. So I think blue will place it here again. Normally if you roll a 7, you don't want to place it on someone who has a knight. And in this case, the blue player had a knight. since this 8 is blocked again, I think it makes more sense to go for that settlement instead of going for a city there. We do hit a 8, so that kind of sucks, but that's okay. We want to do something here. It's okay to keep that arrow, I guess, and we'll build a road here. I know we'll show to green what we are up to, but I don't think green has the resources to beat me here. And he did build this road, so he kind of showed like, okay, I'm not going for that one, you can have this gray. So hopefully he will not change his mind and actually give this to me. A 3 would be nice, or a 4 would be nice, but honestly 10, 9, 5, that are the numbers that we want to see in this game. And we didn't check the graph at all so far. We did get a lot of 8, but I think a few of them, at least 4 of them have been blocked, maybe 5 right now. Oh no, this was a 6, it wasn't an 8. But yeah, I think 4 of them have been blocked. But yeah, we got pretty lucky with that 8. And also maybe with 5, 9, 10, no, only 2 9s, 1 10. And how's the 5? Oh yeah, we got lucky with the 5. I have to give the game that. So where's the other 5? Other 5 is there. So we do get a 9, that's good. A 3 would be nice. 4 would be nice, but again, 9, 5, 10. That are the numbers that we are dependent on right now. So yeah, we got that 9, that's cool. We hit a 7 here, so we would like to steal some brick. Brick or wool, I guess. 2 lumber. I did that. So red has 2 wool. Yes, lumber. He doesn't have any brick. 3 brick, but the blue player did build 2 roads after that, I believe. I think blue still has 1 brick. I think the green player also has 1 brick, but the green player also has 2 lumber, so I think it makes sense to steal from blue, and blue as well. Let me check here. Red has a knight, we know. Green has at least a victory point. Green has at least 1 victory point, and we didn't use the glitch on blue, so we'll try to do this. And we're hoping that blue doesn't have ooh, and we do get a city here, so that was lucky. I had no idea what the blue player had there. And yeah, I do assume here that nobody is giving me wheat, so I'm confident to expect that. The nice thing here is if we now get a settlement there and we hit 1 8, we get 3 ore. And what I said before is you want to end up with 3 ore as many times as possible, because that way you get enough for a city. So if we get a 8 and a 4, we get a city. A 8 and a 3, we get a city. 8 and 2 5 or 8 and 2 9, we get a city. But you get what I'm trying to say here. We get another 8. For now, we don't really want to build another city. If we get it in our hands, sure, I'll build a city there. But preferably we get this settlement first, and it gives us even more flexibility. Because if we get 4 cities and the Harbor Master, we get up to 10 points. But in a Harbor Master game, you need 11 points. So I think the easiest way to do that is just to build another settlement here. And not go for largest army or for longest road. Maybe if it works out, we could go for a longest road. Nobody has it yet. The blue and the red player are making a move for it, mainly the blue player, but the blue player doesn't have very good brick income. This 11 is his only brick income, and I guess it would have been a nice spot to block. And did actually anyone use I didn't check how. Yeah, no, the green player rolled a 7, so I wanted to check if somebody used a knight, but no. Oh, I was thinking that was a 10, but it's an 11. So yeah, 11 is not good for us. Well, it's not that bad, but it gives blue 3 brick, and he really is looking for brick because he has good lumber income. But his lumber and brick income is not in balance, and that's a problem usually. But yeah, I think at this point we are not going for longest road. We do get another lumber here, and I guess I'll pass the turn just to have some flexibility. I think we could have traded that for a brick because we don't have any brick income, we don't have any wool income. But I wasn't expecting to go over 7 here. But ooh, so that's a bad monopoly, but I'll get it on the board. It was a bad one, but I'll put it on the special development card board. Yeah, the green player should have paid more attention there. I guess he was, we saw that 11 and he was stealing it. But he got only 1, and he could have seen that. So I think that was a bad move, and I guess I understand why he thinks, okay, I should get longest road in this game because I don't have good wheat. Yeah, I guess I understand why he wants to go for longest roads, and he has better income. At least he has a balanced income of brick and lumber, definitely now. So I guess I do understand that. But that monopoly just wasn't good. It was really bad actually. So we could get another city here, but preferably we get that that settlement up. So maybe we can trade that 1 wheat for a wool or a brick, and then we can get that settlement up, or that ore. That ore would be better even. Red goes for his first city. We got a lot, so we do have a city in our hand right now. If we get that settlement, we can use that ore pretty good. So I'm still trying to, if I can trade 1 lumber for a wool or a brick, or 1 wheat for a wool or a brick, I would build that settlement. And then I can use that ore to get some flexibility. But first, let's roll a 7 here. We roll a 6, but we have to do something here. We can do something. So let's see if somebody wants to do this. I think wheat is still very scarce. Not a lot of players have a good harbor yet, so yeah, we can do this with green. I'm happy with it. We can get that settlement up, and we are close to another city, but we're not quite there yet. And what do I think I will do? I will do this here. I'm pretty sure I did assume something here, so maybe that was a mistake. But I didn't see it happening that somebody gave me break for ore there. I wanted to do something since I had what did I have? I had four resources, but I do have 2 cities. So if I have 4 resources, you go over 7 pretty fast. Um, so I wanted to do something. Again, if we upgrade these two to cities, we get up to 10 points because we get Harbor Master if we upgrade one of those to cities. But we need 11, so I think this is the fastest way to 10 victory points. And I guess that's a good lesson as well, or a good tip. Catan, it's a lot of people think Catan is about, you know, getting a lot of resources and getting, you know, very good settlements, so you get a lot of resources in your hands. But that's just a way to get to your goal, getting all those resources. Your true objective, your end goal, is to get 10 victory points. So I've seen games that, you know, it happened to me, I think 2 or 3 games ago, that really awful game, that bad game that I lost from the blue player. um, I did get quite a few resources, the other players as well, but the blue player just went very efficiently. He handled his resources very efficiently. I think this would have been a better settlement actually, but it doesn't really matter that much. But anyway, the goal is not to get a lot of resources. The goal is to get up to 10 victory points. So if you use your resources very efficiently, and this, you know, getting this tripod, I'm not sure how to call it, but this thingy, so 3 roads and 3 settlements, that's a very efficient way to use your resources. And also, every time you give away your resources to the bank, that's not efficient. um, so you want to spend your resources as efficiently as possible, and that's, you know, that can be a very big difference. I don't think I should do something here. Wait, I think this makes sense. And at this point, I don't really want to trade with the other players because I can cheap so tradely with the harbor, and I do help the other players. I didn't want to trade that lumber for wheat or for ore because, you know, as I hit my wheat here, I get 2 wheat immediately, and I'm looking for 2 wheat for that city, or for this settlement, I guess, but mainly for that city. Um, and for the eighth, it was the same. So, and I did want to do something because if I didn't do anything there, I would have gotten 7 cards right now, and I don't want to get 7 resources. You don't want to get over 7, but you want to stay away from 7 pretty much. So I'll do this because I get my settlement immediately, and I get some lumber to. I have some lumber to spare. Same goes for this. This way I get my. Now I get my city. I can use that lumber to get some wheat, and I get my city. Hopefully we do not get stolen from, but I'm expecting to get a target on my back. Yep. But since we now also have that ore harbor, we do hit a 9, so that's cool. Since we also had that ore harbor, that gave us flexibility. And we are pretty close to the win actually. If we hit a 3, we can win. If we hit a 3, we can win. A 5, a 10, a 9, that would all give us the win. So we get a 3, so I'm pretty sure we got to win here. We can build 1 settlement. We can, right? So, oh, I need, obviously, oh, I need wool. Yeah. So, yep, we get wool, then we can get that settlement, then we get Harbor Master, so we get up to 9. Oh, yeah, no, we need 2 more cities. I'm sorry, excuse me, guys, excuse me. We need 4 cities, 1 settlement, and and Harbor Master. So, yeah, I was a bit too fast there. That's okay. I still think we have this in the pocket. You know, never be too soon to claim the victory, I guess. But yeah, I don't see how this is not going to work out. I do think my city would have been better there, possibly, because I'm expecting this to be blocked more often. We do know that the green player has a victory point, as does the red player. Let's use the glitch to see if the blue player also has a victory point. I do think so because he has had this, or he has had this for a long time. So I'm expecting the blue player to have another victory point there. but we can use the glitch for that. So yeah, we are getting a big target on our back, and that makes sense. So yeah, we can see the blue player has a victory point there because we didn't see the 3 dots. If you see these 3 dots before a player rolls, you know he can use a knight. So if you don't see those 3 dots, you can be certain that he has a victory point, because the 3 dots also show up if you have a special development card, even though you cannot use them before you roll. So I'm not sure how that glitch works, but I do know if you do not see the 3 dots before the player has rolled, you can be for sure that they have a victory point. So the green player is on 8 points, so he's closest to us. We get a 5, that's good for us. I don't think I will do anything with it. I could have traded it. But again, if I hit an 8 and a 3, I get what I need anyway. So keeping these in my hand gives me some more flexibility. Maybe I hit another 5 and I hit an 8, then I can use that lumber to trade. So that 4 being blocked does kind of suck. But it makes sense that we get targeted. Now we get targeted now. Now we are at 10 points. That makes total sense. But it would be nice to win this game because we had some very painful games earlier today. There was even some point a game that we lost our Grandmaster status. So yeah, we had some painful games. And the time we lost that Grandmaster status, it was a painful game. It was even personally, like emotionally, more painful than the previous one, but it was just a bad game. I didn't pay enough attention. I didn't notice that someone was about to win. I could have stolen longest road from him, and I didn't. And the game before that was just really painful. We just didn't hit any of the numbers. We got 4th place, and we played against I think it were gold players or bronze players, I'm not sure, but I do remember we lost 17 elo in that one game. So yeah, that was a very painful game. So there's the Years of Plenty cards. Let's get it on a special development cardboard. So we are looking for an 8 and we win the game. So hopefully we get it. Not sure how many 8s. So yeah, this is a quite reasonable graph. I guess if you have a 10, I believe we have a 10, right? Yeah, then you would feel a bit, left out. But you would expect it. I can show you. So the yellow is, I know it's not lined up correctly, but the yellow is what you would expect. So yeah, there's nothing to say about this graph. We do get a 9. So at this point, I think it makes sense to get 2 wheat, and I'm still just hope for 1 8 here. I don't want to go. Didn't want to do nothing there because I was over 7. No, I was close to 7, I believe. So now we are very close. We need a 5, a 9, or a 8, and we win the game. A 5, 9, or a 8, and we win. But green player does have a lot of cards here. But yeah, I don't see him getting largest army very quickly. I don't see him getting 3 points very quickly. He does do a big trade there. So yeah, he's going for a city. Probably this one. I would take this one because you want to get more cities up. And again, what I said previously, usually the first city that you build, you want to build adjacent to your ore or to your wheat, so you can continue building more cities. So now we can build more roads, but he already has longest road. Nobody is really competing with him, so I don't think it's a good idea to place it there. Sometimes you do that because you have a good harbor and you have just really good numbers. But I think this one has this has better numbers and it has better resources at this point of the game. We did in the meantime hit our 5, so we do have to win in our hands. If we hit a 7, we still lose, or at least we will not win this round. So hopefully we will not hit a 7, and otherwise it's GG. They don't have a knight, so they cannot steal from me. So the only thing that can mess with us is a 7, and there's only one more chance on hitting a 7, and that's when we we ourselves hit a 7. So hopefully we don't play ourselves here, we don't mess with ourselves, and we win the game. And it was about time that we won a game like this evening. Yeah, so I'm happy with it, but again, let's not celebrate before we actually win, because I've lost games like this. I've lost games like this also live on stream. So let's roll on 7 here. No, we got a 6. So GG, well played. I'm happy with it, because we again we had some rough games this evening. So this was, this is good for my morale. And yeah, we get a city here. GG, well played. And let's check the stats. I know some of you guys, we did get actually 5 Harbor Master points. You don't see that very often. They weren't very good players. Apparently, yeah, so I noticed, because I have a Smurf account, since I'm creating some new YouTube videos. I think some will be uploaded next week. And I have a Smurf account for that, and you can actually play without creating an account. So you have to create a username, but you can play without actually having an account, and then you will not have a ranking. But they do have elo, so this is actually a pretty good player. He just doesn't have a status or a ranking, pretty much. So we got 7 elo. That's okay. I think we started at 1289, 1189. I mean, obviously today. I'm not proud on that. I think I should at least always be over 1200, but well, that's just the way it is, the way the last weekends went. But at least we are back at similar level as we started on. So I'm happy with that, because those 2 very very rough games really messed up our evening. And again, nothing really to say about this graph. 10 is a bit. And normally you would expect a bit more 7, so that it would be a bit more of a peak up here. So again, we can see that yellow graph. But yeah, nothing really to say about that. For trades, that's decent. I think you usually have maybe 5 or 6, but for cities, that's common for me. 5 settlements, that's not very common for me. Usually I only have 4, but maybe in a Harbor Master games I have 5. 5 roads, that's pretty normal for me. And robbed by robbed by other players 4 times, that's pretty decent. Normally it's a bit more, I think, but this gives you an indication of how good have you played under the radar. You want to stay under the radar for as long as possible, and then you want to make your move, and then the other players know, okay, we have to focus on him. But you want to keep that, you want to stay under the radar for as long as possible, pretty much.